All right, Jonas, how's it going, man?
It's going very well, thanks.
So you're what? You're in Sweden right now?
Yeah, sitting at my parents' home in a small town in Sweden, just
Nice, man.
relaxing.
Cool, relaxing. So thanks a lot again for joining me here. This is actually the first one that we're doing of these types of videos. Essentially, what I want to do is just I want to empower the community. I want to help out individuals out there that are possibly just doing something in regards to memory training, and maybe they're sitting all alone in their own little bedroom, and they don't have anyone around them to kind of bounce ideas back and forth in regards to how to improve their own memory training. And I want this to kind of be a little hub so that people can watch these videos and be like, okay, I'm not the only weird one out there doing memory training, right? So yeah, I've been in contact with a few other mental athletes, and you're actually the first one to be on this little video chat session that we have going on here now. So again, thank you, and I'm sure this is going to benefit a lot of individuals out there that want to start doing memory training or doing memory training and just want a little bit of guidance and help. So thank you again.
Yeah, sounds like a really cool initiative.
Cool. All right. So Jonas, tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing, man. You're the new 2013 World Memory Champion. Congratulations on that, first and
Yeah,
foremost.
thanst
So tell
Yeah,
us a little bit
that's
about that and some of the things, some of the achievements that you got. I know 2013 was a huge year for you, so kind of give us a rundown of 2013 for everyone out there.
Yeah, right. I think 2013 was a big memory year for me because it's when I really started to compete in a lot of competitions, and I traveled around Europe in a memory tour and then visited different countries and won a lot of competitions, and it was a lot of fun, and I really got to know a bunch of very cool people and memory competitors. And Yeah, it was a great year, and my aim from the beginning was to be able to be the world champion in the at the world championships at the end of the year.
Nice.
And in the beginning, it looked quite good, and I thought that probably I will get better and better, and maybe I will be able to challenge Johannes. But
Nice.
then in the end of the year, it felt almost impossible because Johannes got his 10,000 score
Right.
at the Swedish Memory Championships, and yeah, I thought that I might get the second place at the World Memory Championships if I did my best. But then I don't know, everything just fell into place at the WMC, and yeah, it worked out extremely well.
Nice, man. I wasn't able to make it this year. I was there last year. Just different things happened in my life, and I just couldn't make it. But I will definitely be there this year, 2014. So I'll be there.
Yeah, great. Looking forward to
On
see
TV.
that.
Cool. So, kind of tell us I guess, what the experience is like at the World Memory Championship for someone that's never been there. What are they going to experience going into the World Memory Competition?
I think that when it comes to the World Memory Championships for the first time, and you know nothing about it, you're really surprised by how friendly and open-minded everyone is.
Right.
And it's really like you can talk to anyone and ask anyone about anything, and no one feels annoyed or doesn't want to talk to you, but everyone wants to share their ideas and their techniques, and everyone just talks to each other and laughs and congratulates each other, and it's really an amazingly friendly atmosphere. And I think the last day before the competition started, someone brought up some juggling balls, and then it appeared as if almost everyone had some kind of circus stuff with them, like cubes or juggling balls or
Awesome.
speed stack cups, and the whole place just turned into a big circus room,
Circus.
and everyone was showing up with different fun things, and yeah, it was just an amazing atmosphere, and I think it's very unusual for a big sports event like this that everyone is so friendly, and it just feels so great to be there.
Right, right. It's not like a spelling bee where everybody's all serious and I can't talk to everybody else, right? Or maybe even chess. I've never been in chess matches, but I'm pretty sure chess it must be something like that to where you kind of want to have a little bubble around you. And it's true at the World Memory Competition, everybody's friendly. I remember talking to Tenso, and we're kind of just sharing tips and tricks. How he memorizes and how I do it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. He's from Australia, and I'm over here chatting it up with him and giving each other tips. So it's very true. It's very open environment. So that's awesome. What was your 3 days, man? 3 days strong. Was there any point where you're like, man, that's it. I want to kind of like take a break because it's 3 days of nothing but memorizing. Like, how is the actual competition setting? Outside of the fun stuff?
Yeah, well, I think of course it's quite hard to memorize with a very high focus for 3 days. But I think since before, at least I was very prepared for all the each of the different disciplines, and I felt that for every new discipline it was like a new goal that I was trying to reach my goal for that discipline, and then it was the next one. It feels. Yeah, it feels you don't. I didn't get so tired. I just was, of course, in the evenings I was quite tired. But during the competition, you just feel very happy, and you want to show how a good score you can get in each of the disciplines. So I think it's yeah, it's just very nice to sit there and to compete and to try to memorize as much as possible. And it's great also to feel that there are a lot of other people around you doing the same thing. So it's not like when you're home and memorizing by yourself, and sometimes it can get boring. But here's a whole room of memorizers, and it feels really like a quite fun group activity, even though you're rather isolated during when you're doing it.
All right, cool, man. What is Jonas's training process to prepare yourself so that come world memory competition, it's kind of pretty easy and you're just going, along with the flow and you're fully focused on what you're doing. What is your training process? What does that entail for you?
My training process before the championships,
Right.
it's well, usually I practice for maybe 2 or 3 hours a day during the season, and then just before the World Memory Championships, I was practicing for maybe 5 hours almost every day to be able to really give Johannes a challenge, which I managed to do as well. And when I practice, I just do the disciplines as they are in the competition, and try to go faster each time. And yeah, usually it gets a bit faster all the time, so it feels very motivating to continue practicing.
Cool. What kind of systems do you use to memorize?
I use basically almost the same as most other people. I use the person action object system for numbers,
Okay.
and then of course I use memory palaces and journeys to place the images in almost all the disciplines except for abstract images and names of faces.
Cool.
But otherwise it's pretty much the same techniques that everyone else is using.
Turn things into pictures, store them in mental palaces, mental locations, and then go back on there and retrieve them. So, just real quick, for someone that's like brand new, has never even picked up a deck of cards, or even try to memorize a number, right, other than their own phone number. So, what is the exact process that you would go to? Like, let's say if I just gave you, 6-digit number right now, what would you do in order to memorize? So, like, let's say I gave you, are you ready? I'm gonna give you a 6-digit number. All right. So, like, let's say it's 3692. 03. What would you do to memorize that?
Well, for me, since I use the person action object system, I have for each group of 2 digits, I have either a person or an action or an object.
Okay.
And then I always go like for the first 2 I take a person, and the second 2 the object, and the third 2 first 2 the person, then the action, then the object.
Right.
And then I start over person action object all the time. So I really memorize them in groups of 6. So the ones that you said, for the first 2 I take the person. 36, it's a person from a famous Swedish children's program.
Okay.
So called Moje. So it's Moje, and then the action 92. It's to get beat up. So Moje gets beat up, and then he's getting beat up by the object, which is 03, and that's a gun. So Moje gets beat up by a gun.
By a gun.
So that's the image, which I just try to see as clear as possible in front of me.
Okay, cool. So you would store that in front of one of your mental locations, right?
If I were to memorize it for a long time, or if I then of course I would store it somewhere. And if it was someone's phone number, then I would try to involve them in the image, so that I connect the image to this person, so that I know it's his or her phone number.
I see. Okay, cool. Pretty sure brand new people learned a lot from that little tip right there. Cool. So give us a quick background of Jonas. Like, who was Jonas growing up, and why did you actually end up wanting to get started in this field of memory training?
Well, I think I've always been interested in different stuff and a lot of different things. So I always had small periods of doing something very intensely.
Right.
So I usually I just jumped from project to project to project all the time, and then I just 1.5 year ago I discovered this book about memory techniques, and I thought it sounded very cool, as I usually do when I read about something that is cool. I find it very cool, and I want to delve into it immediately. And so I did that, and I started to create systems, and I started to memorize stuff, and I noticed that it was so much easier with these techniques than it was before without techniques. So then I was just hooked, and I thought that maybe I will continue to do this, and then for some months, and participate in the Swedish Memory Championships, and that will be it. But then it went so well in the Swedish Championships, so that I really felt that I wanted to continue, and then I just kept on going to competitions, and it always was so much fun. So this time I've clinged on to it, and just kept on doing it for 1.5 years now.
Wow, man. 1.5 years and you became the world. And not like you've been doing this for 10, 15 years. You just started brand new, fresh, and you already became the world memory competition. That's a huge accomplishment, man. And,
that is crazy.
So if, like, let's say I'm a student, right, and I want to use these techniques to help me out, to learn information much more quickly, what kind of tips would you give me as a student to be able to apply these techniques in, say, in a school setting?
Yeah, I think that it's best just to start by using learning to use the journey method, because that's sort of the principle for all of the different techniques, and you can memorize almost anything that you want with it. So just using the journey methods, and then try it on some subject, some homework you have to do, or something, some chapter in some book in school that you have to memorize, and just write down some keywords for each paragraph in the text, and then place them in a journey. And I think that's a good start, and it really makes things a lot more easy in the beginning, and then you can start to experiment with numbers and adding different categories of loci and so on. But I think that just using the journal method is a very good start, and it can really simplify things in school.
Cool, man. Awesome tips. So real quick, I want to do a quick wrap up because I don't want to take too much of your time. It's it's a pleasure, having a little session with you, hangout session. But where do you see the sport going in a few years? Like, do you see it growing, kind of staying the same, or like, what's your thoughts on the future of memory sports?
Well, I think it's very interesting right now at the moment, because Nelson's Extreme Memory Tournament is coming up in April, and that will be, I think, quite a new way of competing with head-to-head competitions and very short disciplines. So I think that's a very interesting new path for the sport, and I think that especially the surprise events that also will be included. There will be surprise events that no one knows about. I think that's a very interesting part, and I think something that maybe should be used more in memory competitions, because then it's really it's really things that you meet in everyday life. If you really want to memorize things and make use of the techniques in everyday life, you quite often stumble upon things that you haven't trained so much on memorizing, and you have to come up with new strategies and stuff like that. And I think that if we have more competitions like that with more surprise elements and a bigger variation of things to memorize, I think then that will be very interesting, and also better for so that everyone can see how to apply it in everyday life, not only in competitions.
Right. Do you see yourself running your own memory competition?
Well, I think maybe. I think at the moment it's just too much fun to compete. So I think that right now I wouldn't be able to do it. But in the future, I think that I think it seems like a lot of fun also to run a competition, and everyone who does it seems to really be enjoying it. So I think, yeah, in the future probably I will.
Because then at that point you can kind of mix it up. You don't have to go by certain rules or regulations or whatever. It's just you create your own events. You know, you'll kind of model and go and kind of copy what's out there right now, what's working, but then kind of also twist it up and change it up in a way that can make it fun for the entire community. So
yeah, that's right.
Cool. So what do you do? Do you also like train others to compete in memory competitions or to use these techniques in everyday life, or do you just compete yourself in competitions?
Well, I've trained my girlfriend a little bit and my mother and told them how to memorize deck cards. And also I've had some lectures and try to teach students how to use them in school.
Right.
But not as much as I wanted to. So I think in the future and this year I really hope to be able to visit more schools and to try to really get the techniques out there and try to teach as many people as possible about using them, and especially for everyday life and school and work, because I think that's where they have the most value, even if it's a lot of fun, of course, to also to compete and try to memorize as many numbers as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, man, we gotta spread the word to as many people as possible to improve the sport and increase it. Last thoughts. What are some just some final tips for someone that's out there, brand new, fresh? What do you suggest that they do to start off right in this world of memory training?
I think that a good place to start is probably mnemotechnics.org, where there's a forum where you can discuss a lot of things about memory sports, and a lot of people are discussing, and you can ask anything. So I think if you start there, you really can get to know whatever you want to know, and you can ask anything that you're curious about. So I think that's a good place to start, and then look through the threads and see what other people have memorized and how they have done it, and then try to adopt what you think fits you, and come up with your own ways of memorizing. And I think that's a good start, just to get into the community, and then things will just roll on.
Exactly. Get in, get started, pick up a deck of cards, memorize, and you'll go up from there. So, all right, thanks a lot, Jonas. Have a nice day back home, and I'm just getting my day started here as well. 7 o'clock where I'm at. I know it's like 4 o'clock where you're at, almost 5 probably. But again, thank you for joining me on this first memory experts call. I think is what I'm gonna call it. I don't even know yet. So you're my first memory expert on this call. So thank you, man.
Okay, thank you very much. It was just a pleasure to talk to you.